Well, guys, it's finally over. I have finally watched every single episode of season 1 of True Detective, and I'm here to talk about the finale, episode 8, Form and Void. And I love this show so much, and this episode does not disappoint at all. This is a fantastic finale to a overall amazing show. Everything just works in this episode. It's perfectly done. It's perfectly written, acted, directed. Everything is just at top notch in this episode, and it makes everything worthwhile. Everything we've gone through the past 7 episodes culminates here, and it's done absolutely beautifully. I love every minute of this episode, and it's hard to look away because you're just so captivated by what you're watching. And I overall just completely love this episode. We could end the video there because that's how I feel. But sadly, we'll have to continue on. So let's get started into what I really loved about this episode. So the beginning of this episode starts out inside the Devil's Lair, more or less. In the previous episode, at the very end, we're introduced to our killer, Childress. That's his last name. I can't remember his first name, but this guy is creepy and weird and just white trash, basically. He lives in a pigsty with his half-sister. They have sex. There's this weird moment where she's like, I want to make flowers. And you know what she's talking about. And it's just really weird because nobody says that. And it's so creepy. And what else is there? Oh, yeah. He puts on a different persona and starts talking in a English accent, which is really weird and just off-putting. It really shows just how insane this man is, and he really thinks he's doing something amazing. He's into, like, basically devil worship, and it's really great going inside of what a crazy person like this is doing, and it's a very unsettling way to start the episode. Just, we get headlong into what this guy is all about, and it's really creepy. Finally, we get reintroduced to our leads, Rust and Cole, and as they finally learn about this guy and go in to stop him, and once we get there, the episode just kicks into high gear. We get our grand finale, which is this amazing chase scene through the woods and into basically a old Civil War bunker that has been grown over, and this is basically his lair in a way. This is where a lot of the killings took place, or just other stuff in general. Maybe ceremonies. It's got this really creepy atmosphere, and it's crazy that really none of this is really a set. This is an actual place, like in Louisiana, and I loved that. I loved this sequence so much. I love it when Childress is basically taunting Cole as Cole goes in to find him. He's basically taunting him, and his voice echoes through the halls, and it's great. And the finale has you completely on edge as you're watching it, and then of course, they save the day. They kill this guy. They get their guy. And what I love about this episode is what Rust starts talking about. The fact that, there's more people out there that they haven't gotten. And that bothers him. And Marty is just like, yeah, there's more out there. But you know what? We got our guy. And that's what's important. And I just love that. And I love the final scene of this episode. It's absolutely perfect and really shows how these two have developed over this season, how close they have bonded as friends, because they start out not really caring for each other. Marty really doesn't care for Rust that much. Rust is a weirdo to him, and we really see through the show how their relationship develops into this great friendship that they have. And it's really great watching that, especially in this scene where they have respect for each other and they laugh with each other, and it's like a real friendship that has grown over all these years from 1995 to 2012. I absolutely love that. And the final conversation that Rust has with him, this is some fantastic acting from Matthew McConaughey, by the way. Basically, after the big showdown, Rust is in a coma, and then he talks to Marty about the fact that he could see himself drifting off, and he could see his daughter, and he could hear her voice calling to him to, come there, and he wanted to go there, and then he woke up, and it just breaks his heart because he wanted to see his daughter again. And I think for this moment, in this very moment, we finally see Rust as he was before all this terrible stuff happened to him with his daughter. I believe that Rust wasn't this weird guy before his daughter died, that he was just a normal guy, and just her dying just caused him to go off the deep end and go like very philosophical and become a pessimist. Well, at the end of this episode, he's an optimist. He sees the world completely differently now, because there's this part where Marty talks about looking up at the stars, and you see little glimmers of light, but it looks like the dark is winning. But Rust sees it differently. He thinks the light is winning. And that's just such a great character arc for his character. I love it. And I love how the episode ends with them just laughing together. And the ending song just puts you right in the mood of like, yes, this is the finale. This is just a perfect episode to end on a fantastic show overall. This is one of the best seasons of television ever, and I'm glad I got to revisit it. It's just such a fun watch, and this was a fantastic episode to end on. I love it so much. I think this episode is absolutely perfect. And that's really all my thoughts on True Detective Episode 8, Foreman Void, and my thoughts on True Detective as a whole. I hope you enjoyed this if you've watched it, and if you've stayed through the other episodes, then good for you. I'm glad you enjoyed this if you did, because I really like revisiting shows that I've watched and watching new ones and just giving my thoughts on it, because sometimes I don't get to talk to people about, all these shows, and here it's just a nice way to document my thoughts. So I'm going to be doing a review of this maybe in the next day, and give my thoughts on it and give a final rating for the season as a whole. Then I'm going to continue on with season 2 of True Detective and do a review there in time for season 3 coming out January 13th. So that's really all I've got for you guys. So as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog.